guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well this Monday morning. I'm in a very sunny Paris, and the weather is a little bit sunnier than my disposition today after the draw with Liverpool yesterday. Before the game I said it's a game we mustn't lose, and the first 20-30 minutes I thought it was a game we weren't going to win, but by the end I thought it was a game we could and should have won. I don't think we really pressed them in the last 20-30 minutes when they were tiring. We should have been on top, and we didn't use our substitutes bench, which was a little bit of a concern to me. You know, I think we used, was it one sub in the whole game? But I think we were overall, at the end of that game, we were on top, and I think we should have brought some people on with some skill, some technical skill, some energy. You know, Phil Foden looked like he was coming on, he didn't come on. So we needed something a little bit different, yeah, to take on this Liverpool team that were tiring, running out of ideas. Obviously, they still utilise those front 3 or 4 players to good effect. They're always threatening, but at the back, you know, we didn't really have a go at them. And one of the reasons we didn't have a go at them, because we didn't bring him off the bench, was Riyad Mahrez wasn't there. Now, he was dropped from the squad totally, and this video is about Riyad Mahrez mainly, to see why he didn't even make the bench. Okay, now before the game we were thinking, is he going to start the game, is he going to be on the bench? Okay, that's what, you know, a lot of City fans, you obviously are in two camps. He's going to start the game because he's an experienced technical player who will cause Liverpool trouble on the right. You know, Robertson will have to be on his mettle to cope with Mahrez's trickery. That's what some fans thought. Some other fans thought, no, he's not good enough to start. We want somebody else starting. Maybe put Raheem Sterling on the right, Ferran Torres on the left, Gabriel Jesus if he's fit down the middle. So some people wanted him on the bench. I really don't think anybody in their right mind would have expected Riyad Mahrez to be totally dropped from the squad. He didn't even make the bench. He wasn't one of our 18 best players to choose from yesterday. And I found that hard to believe. So you start asking around, is he injured? Has he got a little niggle, something? What's gone on? Because there's no way he cannot be in the 18. And then we heard from the Athletic correspondents, we heard from the journalists Sam Lee and Jack Gorn, that Mahrez had been rotated. That's what apparently City were telling them, and that's how they report it, that Mahrez is rotated. Well, I've got no allegiance to anybody. No one's. I don't need to please anybody. I'm not saying they are, but I don't need to please anybody to keep my lines of communication open. I don't have any with City, so I'm here to say absolutely no way was Riyad Mahrez rotated. Anybody telling you that Riyad Mahrez was rotated coming from the club, I think they're telling you a porky. I think they're telling you a little lie. Okay, it's misinformation. There is absolutely no way that Riyad Mahrez doesn't make our best 18 players on merit. Now just take a look at our bench. We had 4 defenders and 2 attacking players and a goalkeeper on the bench out of the 7 players we were allowed. 4 defenders. We had 3 centre-backs, Eric Garcia, John Stones, Nathan Ake. 3 centre-backs on the bench. What do you need 3 centre-backs for? Absolutely no reason for that. You've got Zinchenko on the bench, a left back, and obviously Ake could play left back as well. You don't need Zinchenko on the bench. In fact, you could argue you don't need Zinchenko or Eric Garcia on the bench. You could have done with Stones and Nathan Ake, and then you had the 2 attacking players in Bernardo and Foden, and obviously Zach Steffen, the keeper. So you've got 4 defenders on the bench and no space for an attacking player like Riyad Mahrez, a player who can, despite what a lot of City fans say, he can make the difference, a player who will offer you something different. And Pep Guardiola didn't have space for Riyad Mahrez on the bench. That's absolutely ridiculous. And there's absolutely no way, guys, absolutely no way, in my opinion, that Riyad Mahrez was rotated. What does he need a rest for? He's going to go off with Algeria and play for the Algerian national team, I assume in the international break. Their first game is on Thursday. What does Riyad Mahrez need to be rotated for? Why does somebody else need to come in? Why do we, as I said, why do we need 3 centre-backs on the bench? Why do we need 3 centre-backs on the bench? You want a mix of players on the bench. You want defensive players, yes. You want attacking players, and you want maybe a midfielder. Okay, a solid midfielder, maybe someone like Tommy Doyle as one of the kids coming through or whatever. I just can't accept that Riyad Mahrez was rotated. Now, as I said earlier on, it's only two possible explanations for me. One, he's got an injury. We've not heard anything about that because apparently the official line from City was that he was rotated. So they're not saying he's injured. If he had a small injury, surely they would have told us he's got a small injury, like they told us the week before, Zach Steffen, he's got an injury in the Champions League game, so he's out, and Scott Carson got injured in the warm-up, and so this James Trafford, this young kid, he's on the bench. Okay, so if they can tell us when someone's injured quite easily, straightforwardly and readily, then if Mahrez was injured slightly, I'm sure they could have told us exactly the same. So I'm discounting that. So what's left? Mahrez has to have been dropped. He has to have been dropped. Now, we don't know what's happened, why Mahrez was dropped. Okay, we have no idea what the reasoning is. Obviously, there was an issue with what happened the week before when Sam Lee from The Athletic once again said that Mahrez had been spoken to by three players, KDB, Aguero and Fernandinho, over recent weeks for being too greedy. And actually Mahrez came out and said he denied that. He said that's not true, go and check your sources. Sam Lee said he was apparently quite comfortable with his sources, and the club haven't denied it, or they didn't stop him from printing that story. So I said last week, where does that story come from? How high up do you need to be? How high up do you need to be for that story to be believable? How could you get this information? Who gets this information? The kit man? I seriously doubt it. The senior players at City, KDB, Fernandinho and Sergio Aguero, apparently telling Riyad Mahrez he's too greedy, he needs to pass the ball more. Where is that coming from? Is it even coming from Pep? Is it even coming from Pep himself? The club haven't said anything, so if we have to try and fill in the gaps. So it's come from if Sam's comfortable with this source, if it's a reliable source, it must be a senior source. How senior is that source? There's no one more senior than Pep. So how senior does that source go? As I said, it's not the kit man, it's not the tea lady. It's got to be someone like another player, a coach, or the manager. You take your pick. It's coming from somewhere senior. Okay, so that was a thing, and Mahrez said it's not true. Now, the next game Mahrez comes out against, was it Olympiacos? He's passing the ball like crazy. He's getting the ball, passing the ball. He actually had a decent game because he was passing the ball. The opposition did not expect that, and because he was passing the ball nice and early, it wasn't slowing our attacks down, and it wasn't giving their defence time to settle and get organised. So is it something to do with that? But believe me, guys, Mahrez, unless we hear something else, and if we hear something else now, I'm less likely to believe it. Unless we hear something else, Mahrez was dropped. The club line is something totally different. I feel it's something totally bogus, the club line. It's a bogus line that Mahrez was rotated, because there's absolutely no way, shape or form that Mahrez was rotated. There's no way he doesn't get into that squad on merit. Something else is going on. Has Mahrez kicked up a stink because these players have, because of what Sam Lee's article is? Has Mahrez been crying to Pep or whinging to Pep? Let's not say crying. Has been complaining to Pep or whatever? Is there some animosity, some anger from Mahrez, towards his fellow players? Because if these players are saying this, surely he's gone to. If they didn't say that, there's a problem there. Let's think about it. If those players didn't say that, then Mahrez might even go to them and say, did you say that, or have you been saying this to somebody else? What's going on? Mahrez must be confused as well, so I think he's really unhappy about it. He has to be unhappy about this situation. He can't be smiling about it, and he's been dropped from the City side. Guys, if you're new to our YouTube channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. See you around, Blues.